Good day and welcome to the Royal Glassworks. Foster is now picking up a small piece of color from an oven that's used to preheat the glass. That furnace has a temperature of 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Now Foster's heating that glass inside the furnace or glory hole. Now this furnace has a temperature of 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's strictly used to reheat the glass. Now the color we use comes in bar form and is imported from Germany, and it's made by adding different oxides of metals to the glass. For instance, if you add manganese, you get purples and lavenders. Copper will give you the red color, cobalt will give you blue, and if you add gold to the glass, you get a cranberry pink. Foster cut a small piece of, what color is this, Foster?
This is cobalt blue, Josh.
Of cobalt blue.
And for all you folks in the audience there, cobalt blue, which you all know and love.
Yeah, it's made from the metal cobalt. Now that he has that cobalt glass molten, he's using a steel top table called a marvering table to cool and shape it. He'll blow into the pipe. Actually, he's going to take a little bit of a reheat for that color. Might not have been exactly where he wanted it. Just a little bit more shaping on the table. He'll blow into the pipe, trap the air with his finger. The trapped air heats up and expands that small bubble into that color.
So here we have colored glass initially on the end of the blowpipe. This is one of the ways of introducing color to the glass that you see about you in our studio today.
Foster is going to the main glass furnace. This furnace has a reservoir of 500 pounds of clear molten glass. It has the consistency of honey or treacle, and that's why you'll see Foster constantly turning that glass to keep it centered. You can also see that glass is glowing that bright orange color. This is from the intense heat of the glass. He's now using a tool that's called a block. The block is made from a piece of fruit wood, and the wood is cut green and remains in water for the life of the tool. Now the water creates a layer of steam for the glass to glide on. Once again, he blows into the pipe, traps the air with his finger. The trapped air heats up and expands that bubble further into the color and clear. Now that he has that bubble expanded into the first gather, he's using that block just to cool and shape it in preparation for the second gather of clear glass.
Yes, so in here you can see where that colored glass has been expanded slightly into the first gather of clear, which covers the colored glass that is now on the end of the blowpipe.
So now that we have our first gather of clear, Foster's letting that glass cool. He's gonna get that second gather of clear glass from the furnace. So you can see that intense heat from the furnace. And the glass is just in a molten state at the floor of the furnace. Now this is Foster's second gather or wrap of clear glass. And the amount of gathers or glass Foster gets determines the size he is able to make. using that larger size block to cool and shape it. Now the glass only has a certain amount of time we can work it before it cools, and we need to bring it back to this furnace to reheat. Now Foster's using that marvering table to cool and shape the glass. The marvering table gets its name from the French word for marble. Before they had slabs of steel, they would use sheets of marble to cool and shape the glass. Now you're watching Foster Holcombe work. Foster learned to make glass in the industry school in England, and the type of glass you're watching him make is called cased glass. Now Foster's going into an optic or dip mold. This leaves those optical impressions on the surface of the glass. However, every time the glass comes in contact with that cold metal, it needs to go back to that furnace to reheat. This tool is called the jacks, and the jacks are used to make a neckline, which will make the transfer a little bit easier later. Foster's expanding that bubble further into the glass. Now you're joining us at the Art of Fire in Laytonsville, Maryland. You're watching Foster Holcombe work. He's using those jacks to cut down that neckline a little bit further. And he's expanding that bubble. The paper jacks are used to cool and shape the sides. Now this is freehand glass blowing. If this piece were made in the glass industry, it would be blown into a mold to give it its size and shape. Since no molds are used, Foster uses gravity centrifugal force along with over 35 years of experience. Foster's now selectively heating the bottom half of the glass. You can see it's just inside that furnace. Now that the bottom half is hot, he's using a wood paddle to flatten the bottom. Gives it a little bit of expansion to round it back out. He uses that wood paddle. That way the bowl can sit on a table. He's also using the jacks to make an indentation. This is in preparation for the punty. Okay. So now that we have the piece almost complete, Foster is now going to get a gather of clear glass on what's called a punty. A punty is a small bit of glass on the end of a solid rod, and it gets its name from the French word for bridge. The punty is called the bridging tool because it allows Foster to move the bowl from the pipe, and he can then finish or open the mouth. So now Foster's using that marburing table to shape the punty. He's going to attach it at the bottom of the bowl, making sure that it's centered. He'll place a drop of water on that neck, and with a light tap, it separates from the pipe. And that's one of the ways you know if a piece is handmade. If you look for that rough or punty mark at the bottom, that's an indicator that a piece was made by hand. Foster's now focusing the heat of that furnace on the mouth or rim of that bowl. Every once in a while though, you'll see him place it all the way inside. That's to bring some heat to that punty. That punty is only a small bit of glass, and if that bit of glass were to get too cold, the bowl may come off before he was finished. Now, if this were made in the glass industry, there would be a team of people working, each with a specific job. The first person would gather the glass and hand it to a gaffer. The gaffer would then blow it into a mold to give it its size and shape. They would then hand it off to a third person who would open the mouth. However, no one single person in that process would have it from start to finish. Foster is part of the studio art glass movement, which was revived in the 60s by Harvey Littleton and Dominic Labino. Studio art glass is highly sought after because it's done in the manner you see here, by one artist from start to finish, and each artist signs their work. All of the glass you see on our website and gallery are all signed and for sale. And we'll be happy to help you with any custom orders or purchases. You may also purchase this piece you're watching Foster make, and we do take custom orders, so you can choose the size, color, and shape you would like. Now, when Foster's finished opening the mouth of this bowl, he'll take it off that punty and he'll place it inside an oven at the back of the studio. That oven holds the glass made throughout the day at 1,000 degrees. At the end of the day, we shut off that oven, and the glass inside is allowed to cool very slowly overnight. This cooling process is necessary, for if Foster was to just leave this on the ground, it would cool too quickly and break. Now, this tool is called a steam stick. The water heats up, turns to steam, which then inflates the top. So you can really see how it expanded the top of that bowl. The paper jacks are used to open. You can see Foster only has a couple seconds to work a piece before it begins to cool. Now, we'll be happy to work with you to make a custom piece. The king's cousin, Uncle Sam, allows us to use his castle, the post office, where we can ship any work to you first class and insured. Now, Foster's using those jacks to open the mouth. So now Foster's going to ruffle this piece. Now, it's going to take a second to happen, but when it happens, it's going to happen very quickly. So keep your eyes on Foster and the glass.
naturally ruffled rim is from an old Italian technique called the handkerchief drop, where you're working with gravity, centrifugal force, the ductility of the glass, and of course the experience of the glass blower. So here we have the naturally ruffled rim in the bowl, cobalt blue bowl. We hope that you've enjoyed the demonstration. We also hope you feel that you've learned a little something during the demonstration. If you have additional questions, or we could be of sales assistance, you can DM us.
Yeah, you can email, you can DM us on Facebook or Instagram, and we'd be happy to help you with those custom orders and purchases.
We hope that you've enjoyed the demonstration. We also hope you feel that you learned a little something during the demonstration. If you have additional questions, we'd be happy to work with you. Thank you for being with us for the hottest show in the realm. A good day to you one and all. Good day and a hearty huzzah. Thank you. There you go. Very cool.
Very nice. Thank you, Foster.
Excellent. Thank you. Enjoy your day.